All right, welcome to the Rise41 podcast and to the second episode of our Overcoming Adversity series. I'm your host, Gonzalo Gonzo Herrero, and today I have the privilege of welcoming Mr. Simon Goliath Lafontant, who has achieved a truly remarkable feat. He's gone from being 370 pounds, I believe, to basically a high-level bodybuilding competitor now. And in only 11 months, he lost about 150 pounds in the process while gaining a remarkable amount of muscle, which is truly amazing. And the story behind it all is even wilder than you can imagine. So with that, Simon, the floor is yours. Tell us about yourself.
I feel like my story isn't very different from everybody else's. You know, like you don't become morbidly obese overnight. It's a series of bad decisions that lead to it. Like you don't one thing that I used to do like towards the end of it was I'd sit there and I'd eat like 6 to 8 McDoubles in one go, and that was a snack, right? But the problem is like you don't just one day go, okay, I'm gonna order 8 McDoubles. No, you start at 2, and then eventually, oh, I'm a little hungrier today. I'm gonna have 3. Oh, that was comfortable. And then I'll have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, you don't just get to that weight
for sure
in an instant. So again, it was just a series of bad decisions, and with that comes, you know, like the instilled laziness and the ease of access with like, you know, Uber Eats, Skip the Dishes, DoorDash, all those apps where, you know, you can find crazy deals for like 2-for-1s. The next thing you know, you just ate both meals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we've all been there. Like, there's nothing special about how I gained the weight. Now, how I lost the weight, that's where my story gets a little interesting. And I guess like I always say this, but in every person's life, there's a point where they will be done believing their own shit. You know? Like they will stop rationalizing their bad decisions, and they'll just make the change. Or they'll something will happen. Like they'll hit that fuck it moment, that inflection point, and they'll make the change. Now, I actually posted about this yesterday, where I found the exact text chain that I sent my friend saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do something. We're gonna record it. When can we meet up?" And I can send you those pictures. It's on Instagram.
That'd be great. Sure, would love to like put them in here and share them with the audience. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was August 2nd at 5:38 a.m. where I texted my friend going like, "Hey," it was pretty much me saying like, "I'm fucking done. I'm gonna learn how to either count macros or do calories or something, but something has to change. That's happening today." And then
so what's that moment of clarity? Like one crystallized moment of decision. Okay.
Yeah, so like I remember this so vividly. I had woken up, and then I was turning around in bed, and I was out of breath. You know how fuck that is?
From waking up.
Just like
being awake is tiring.
You know, like you're just turning around in bed. It takes out all your energy. I was like, nah, bro, like this can't be it. Like there has to be a better way of living life, right? Like this can't be it. And on August 6th, I posted the first, I guess, video. On August 5th, I posted the conversation saying, "I'm gonna join a bodybuilding show, but I'm this fat guy." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then on August 6th, I posted my day one. I weighed myself, and I was technically on my day one, of the August 6th, I was 354 pounds, but I weighed in at 372 about a week and a half before at a strongman competition in Quebec.
Okay.
So that's why I always use that 372, because I was there a week before, just from water loading and all this other stuff, right? But yeah.
So hearing that, you already had a resistance training background already to some degree? Okay. Yes. So you had a foundation. Okay.
Yes, I mean, it's impossible unless you use like incredible amounts of anabolics that would kill you to put on this much muscle in this short period of time. I mean, it's not really deniable too, and I'll send you a picture of this as well. But when I was 18 years old, I have a picture in a banana costume, and this was like after only 1 year in the gym, where I already had 17-inch arms and like almost 30-inch legs. So like my genetics were absolutely ridiculous. And then came the bad decision, which was at
So the lifestyle, right? Like the everyday, like you said, we get comfortable. We got into these routines. We're not as aware. Is that basically what
yes,
happened? Okay.
but I had a bit of a different like point that led me to that, which was towards the end of my like 18th year on this planet, I guess, or pretty much right where I turned 19. I decided I was like, I'm gonna become a pro bodybuilder, and then I had no real information back then other than like bodybuilding.com/forum/steroids, where
Right.
I did my first ever cycle of anabolics, and I took Olympia-sized dosages without knowing
Oh,
on my
wow.
first
Okay.
ever cycle. Yeah. So I completely ruined my pituitary signaling to my testes and went
Right.
complete hypogonad, stopped producing testosterone naturally. And
Oh,
I
wow.
lived
Okay.
in like hypogonad low test for the next 8 years, which is definitely a big part in where like my weight started going up and my drive went down and my motivation went down and everything else. While
Right.
I'm just depressed eating fucking McDonald's every
Right.
day. Right?
And we
Yeah.
know how the hormone balance will affect not just your physicality, but your mindset, your drive.
Your will to live. Like,
Yes, absolutely. Wow. Okay. So this is a lot more complex than I thought. Okay.
yeah, so there's a bit of an interesting backstory there of why everything went there. Because like it almost it makes sense that somebody with like my musculature back then could have put on that
Right.
much fat unless it was like a very horrible set of decisions, which it was.
Right. Right. And you know, there's always the that dichotomy or that difference between the bodybuilding world and the powerlifting world. You know, where they need those calories to make those really strong, heavy, ultimate lifts that have to be efficient, versus the sculpting and the approach of
Exactly.
aesthetics. Right.
Yeah,
So.
and so I was doing like the whole strongman thing, and it was so crazy again, like our ability as obesity people to rationalize this stuff. But like I was really fat, and I still managed to like ration out to myself, like I'm gonna gain more weight so I can lift
Right.
more weights.
Because I'm going to be even
Like,
stronger. Right.
right? And I mean, my deadlift was almost 700 pounds in like 1 year
Wow.
of progress. I was like, okay, sweet, clearly we're making some strides here. But also,
Right.
I couldn't fucking breathe when I was in bed. So, and,
Right. Right.
you
It's a
know?
balancing. It's a balancing act for sure. For sure.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So how did you achieve it? Like, let's give an idea to anyone listening. Like, you had your moment of clarity. You had a background already in bodybuilding and resistance training. So what did you do? Did you learn anything? How did you approach the issue?
So, it didn't happen overnight. Long story short, on August, so sorry, it was December, like 2022. I was real depressed. I was in like the worst of my depression, pretty much, where I was just like eating, and then
Right. Self
you,
medication via food.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then my little brother asked me out of nowhere. He's like, "Hey, your life is pretty much shit. Do you want
Well,
to come with me? I'm going to Colombia, and I think you would probably like you could use it. So like stepping out of your comfort zone and just like doing something different." And
right.
I was like, "When are we leaving?" And he's like, "Next week." I was like, okay. I mean, like, but like, look, I was doing like freelance work. I didn't really have anything steady, and I was just, I was
Right.
living with my, like, like, it was a bad life, pretty much. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, like, let's go to Colombia.
Yeah.
When in Colombia, so I don't know how much you know about the Canadian healthcare system, but getting testosterone levels checked here is incredibly difficult. It's
Okay.
like getting to an endocrinologist will take you like at least a year, at least.
Oh wow.
Versus
Okay.
in Colombia, I paid $20, got my blood test done because I like coming from a nursing background, I was like, something's not right. I'm not supposed to feel this shitty all the time. So I
Right.
went, got a full blood paneling done, and that's when I saw that my total testosterone levels was in the 70s, which is
Wow.
like what a woman would have naturally.
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, oh fuck, okay,
Yeah.
something's not
Definitely
okay.
not a young man, and a young man with muscle too.
Exactly.
Oh,
So, but
right.
so I went talked to a doctor, and that's when he gave me the whole like, hey, you might want to think about TRT.
Mhm.
Now, of course,
Right.
back then, like, well, in Colombia, like, this wasn't like an endocrine, and you can get testosterone there as easy as like ordering it from Uber Eats, like literally. Um,
Wow.
so,
Okay.
so he's like, hey, you should probably hop on TRT, and I was like, okay, well, how much should I take? He's like, all right, just start at 250, and we'll get you reassessed in a couple months. I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
So started doing that, and this was in like January now, and then pretty much so like after a couple weeks, it was like the way that I describe TRT to someone who actually needs it, and I'm not talking about like hormonal abuse or steroid use, but for someone
Right.
who actually needs testosterone replacement therapy or any sort of hormonal replacement therapy,
Mm.
it's like adding color to a black and white picture. You know, like all of a sudden I wanted to go outside again. I wanted to go on walks. I wanted to
Wow.
try different things. I wanted to experience life again. And that's really hard to describe it for somebody who's incredibly depressed, having trouble getting out of bed.
I
That's
can imagine.
fucking godsend,
Right.
so that led me to, and I have all these clips where I'm in Colombia training, like just like there's like these outdoor gyms and these outdoor like places to like lift throughout the city.
Wow.
Where I just gotta stop there and I started like lifting weights again. I was like, oh, this feels nice again, you know. And like about 5 or 6 months later, come August, however many months that is later, that's when I had that moment of like, you know what, now it's time to lose weight.
Gotcha.
Here we are.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, wow.
A
So,
lot more than you thought, right?
yeah. No, but this is great though, because again, even though your story is unique and unique to you as an individual, there are lessons here for people to learn, right? For people to be aware. Like the idea of a young man who perhaps you are overweight but still muscular, having that T level drop so drastically and not come back, right? You know, assuming, you know, that we stop the anabolic. I mean, you'd never imagine that. So this is important. This is important information to share. So wow. So what is having? So what is your life like now? Like what has the change brought to you and to your life?
Everything, man. Everything.
Okay.
Like, so before doing all this, I posted a video that went like fucking crazy on Instagram, but it's like I hadn't had any sort of like physical or sexual contact with a woman in 8 years because I hated myself so much that I stopped talking to the opposite sex, and I stopped chasing that. I stopped, you know, like the socialization of it. So like now, so like through this journey around like December or January, I met my now girlfriend of like 10 months. So that's obviously been a big change.
Awesome. Awesome.
Other than
So
that,
your life has turned around completely.
like my relationship with my parents has like tenfold increased because like now I'm not just like fucking wasting my life playing League of Legends for 10 hours a day. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's fair. That's
Like,
fair. And there's a lot to be
relationship-
said about, you know, video gaming as a compensation for people that may not have their life goals in front, right? Because it serves a purpose in the sense that you achieve things. They're just not real life things.
Well,
So,
exactly. And I feel like this is I mean, we're probably not going to get into this podcast. If you want to bring me back another time, sure. But it's like not only video games, but like let's say pornography consumption. You know, like so you put those two together, and with like with the fucking trifecta of the ease of fast food, and now you never really have to work for really anything. Because you get that sexual gratification within like 10 seconds of opening a new browser, and then you go play your video game, so you get that constant dopamine hit, and then you're hungry. Fuck this, I don't want to cook, and keep like stop playing. Just order some food real quick. Okay, I'm eating while I'm fucking watching Netflix now. So like you never stop consuming, right?
Well, so many people don't realize that adversity is a good thing. It's those challenges. We're meant to conquer those challenges, and our health actually depends on having, you know, situations that are adversarial that we resolve, and that helps you build. Same as resistance training builds muscle. This is mental and spiritual and hormonal, I guess, building. So
it's just like Goggins says, do hard shit every day.
yeah, you gotta do it. Gotta do it. You know, like a friend of mine once told me the story about be like a shark. If you stop moving, you die. So be the shark. Keep moving. Keep trying. Keep pushing. You know, another variation of the same thing.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Simon, so what's next for you? What is the next thing? You've got
Oh god.
9 days to go.
Yeah, I have 9 days to go. I mean, like it's this is something that I got a lot of flack for on that Will Tennessee video, where some like a lot of people in the comments were sort of like asking about like, well, sorry, Will asked me, he's like, what are you doing after this? And I didn't have an answer. And then when I filmed with Mitchell Hooper, World's Strongest
Uh-huh.
Man, he said, like, are you ready to win? And I was like, bro, winning is the only thing that I'm visualizing. It's the only thing that is
There we
possible of
go.
an outcome. And then he's like, are you ready to lose? Like, fuck.
Mm.
Like, no, man. Like,
Let's just play with your head a little bit.
right? Yeah. So like,
Uh,
it's. I thought a lot about what's next, and I mean, yes, the outcome of this championship finals is going to play a big difference, but ultimately, not so much. Now, what I mean by that is, if I win, now of course I'm going to get like the backing from Summer Shredding, and then I'm going to have to fly to every Summer Shredding show, and I'm going to be doing like the representation for them and stuff, and that would be absolutely amazing, just because of the backing that I'll have, like meeting all these incredible people and such.
right.
And that'll obviously help me grow my own platform due to the fact that like now all these like transformation people are going to be looking up to me and
Yeah. For sure.
But I can't, like, one thing that I learned. So I trained with for about a week with this guy called Ben Pekulski. He's one of like the bodybuilding goes. Like he's an incredible, insightful person, and he made me read the book called The Gap and the Gains. And the one key element that I gained from there was that you can never have your main metrics of successes be out of your control. So I didn't really understand what that meant before, but it's like, how can I possibly base my like the value of my own change of life from the opinion of a judge that's going to know me through a 30-second video and a 2-minute video and a 30-second routine? Like he wasn't there all the days that I had to fight, you know, myself.
Yeah, when you had to wake up and do the training and lift and eat or not eat.
Yeah, especially right now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure. I
So
mean,
how can I like have that main metric of success be in the hands of somebody else? You know, like that's it. It doesn't make sense. So if I win, fuck yeah, sick, awesome.
Right.
I'm gonna be super pumped about it. I'm gonna obviously like lavish in it. I'm gonna learn from the experience. But if I lose, I am going to focus on what I'm focusing right now, which is like, again, just sharing this, which is training people, which is the online coaching, which is the 90-day programs. Like I've had some fucking crazy successes in a very short period of time that I'm doing this. So like I that I've been able to keep off people, or take off people ever since I started.
Oh, and, that's pretty cool. That's a great metric.
And so I only started this about 4 months.
Wow.
I guess 5 now. 5 months. Sorry. So 5 months now of like online coaching, and I've already managed to take off 4,000 pounds off people.
That's remarkable.
Right?
Yeah, that is remarkable.
So it's
and having gone through something like that myself, I can only imagine the quality of life improvement of all the people working with you that you've helped. That's
Josh. Have you heard about Josh?
No.
So Josh is my Instagram superstar client. We'll call him. He's got like 300,000 followers on Instagram. But like the thing is, so I messaged him like 2 months into my transformation, but he never saw my messages. But like he had done this very long road. Like I'm talking like he had been doing this for like about 2.5 years straight with very little progress, unfortunately.
Right.
But like he was going to the gym every fucking day. And finally, I managed to connect with him through like you know my own weight loss and all this other stuff and all like the social media aspect of it. And now he, as of today, actually, like this fucking morning, he sent me, because like he'll send me a picture every morning of his weight, and he's down 130 pounds. In, like 6 months and fucking like 3 days. Like what the fuck? You know
That's incredible though.
Right?
But it's great. Heck,
exactly.
Let's invite him on the podcast.
Right? So being able to share this like with people and like give them the same results that I had. And it's like I'm very, 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 very open with people. I'm telling them like, don't expect to have this amount of muscle on you after.
Right.
This is just I'm a social media genetic anomaly. Like let's be honest.
Yeah. That's fair. But you are sharing what you know and your experience with everybody, and it's helping people, which is kind of like what we're trying to do with this podcast ourselves. Same thing. Exactly. It's we are looking for stories like yours that will inspire people like, you can do this. You can do this. I mean, it's a matter of realization, having the plan, being able to ask for that help, and have that inspiration from people like you, like yourself. So
Exactly.
this is truly amazing. All right, so to close it out, advice. What can you tell our listeners if you could have a minute or two to give them some motivation?
First thing I would say is get your bloods done.
Yeah.
That's obviously something that I neglected for 8 years, and obviously could have changed a lot of things going in. And you never really know what's going on in your body until you get that done.
Yeah.
So getting that done and then getting yourself a consult with a professional that actually knows what the hell they're talking about can make a very large difference for you. Now,
Yes.
not everybody can afford that, and I totally get it. So the other alternative I would say is just fucking start, man. Don't start tomorrow. Don't start on Monday. Right the fuck now. And what I mean by that, like, you don't have to like start like by like changing your life fucking 180 the way you like. No, just like instead of like buying full sugar Coke, buy fucking Coke Zero.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Instead of like buying like that pack of like Oreos, maybe like don't and like purchase like other options, or maybe even just do a little bit of research on what are the different types of like proteins that you could be taking, or just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be crazy. Just start somewhere.
So you would say it's a matter of having the plan and doing things in a sustainable, repeatable way that you can keep going, and then keep adding to that success, to those small pieces of success. Okay.
Like, how often people ask me, like, hey, what's the best type of cardio? It's the fucking cardio that you're willing to do. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
if you'll get out of bed and do it, that's the right cardio for you.
That's the right cardio for
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Simon, it's been amazing. So much success in 9 days, and well past that for the rest of your life. You're truly inspirational. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And yeah, we wish you the best. And for the rest of the audience, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, etc., etc. You know the drill. And from Rise41, thank you so much.